What is up? Welcome back to Softcore History. I am your host for the week, Rob Fox, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling excited. Joined as always by Dan Regester.
I'm feeling hot.
Feeling hot? Is it the lights?
Could be the lights, but it could also be me coming off the couch, rolling a 191 after 10 years of not bowling.
Oh boy,
No big deal.
We'll save that for the Patreon. The civilians don't want to hear this shit.
That's an athlete right there.
Yeah.
200 is perfect?
300.
300.
Oh.
So.
But I fucked up on the ninth
That's not that
frame.
impressive.
I fucked up on the ninth frame. I still bowled in 191.
What does that even mean? It's like I would have had a better score if I didn't have a worse score.
Well, the
Yeah.
10th frame only matters if you
Get to
either spare or strike the ninth frame
Right.
to continue it. Otherwise, the max you can do on the 10th frame is 30.
So you fucked up the big scoring opportunity.
Yes.
You couldn't put it in the end zone in the red zone. You had a red zone possession. And
But I followed
you
it with a
scored
strike
touchdown.
and a spare, so we're good.
Okay. All right. Joined this week by Gabby Montemayor.
Hello.
Back for more at
for
Gab
more.
Monty across socials. Check
Yep.
it out. Local Austin stand-up. That's not how I know you, but
Mhm.
Yeah. Doing stuff.
doing stuff
Some things.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Where's your latest show at? I feel like we never did this at the top of the show.
Oh, I don't even know. I think I was at,
Stop trying to be every other
Fallout.
podcast.
yeah, I don't need to plug anything. If
All
someone,
right.
if someone wants to find me, they'll find me.
Yeah, exactly. Especially this crowd.
It's always the
I'd
best
I'd
thing.
rather they didn't.
A comedy podcast, they just lead off the first 5 minutes. All right, I'll be in Spokane on Tuesday.
There's a lot of comedians that travel and I'm like, how are you making money doing this?
There's people I know that travel and make money. I'm like, how?
Yeah, who is it? Just this people need something. I actually understand it in like New York or LA, but like who in like St. Louis has comedy clubs? So I'm like, who's going to the Funny Bone on a fucking Wednesday?
Tons of people.
That's crazy to me.
Tons
It's
of
crazy
people.
to me.
Well, because also they'll paper the room, so they'll just send out an email and be like, if you want free tickets, like if you can't sell all your tickets.
Yeah.
But
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good.
Love to see people thrive. Doing whatever they want.
Honestly, if you were single, like that seems like a sweet life, to be honest. Like traveling around.
As a
fucking-
woman, not so much.
Even as
No?
a dude. Dude, that
No,
would
it's
suck.
Pretty rough.
Being on the road all year.
And
It's
it's like
rough.
bad accommodations. Like it's either comedy condos, which is like
I don't know what that is. What is it?
it's basically like the owner of a club has a condo that that they bought.
Oh
And
no,
so
you don't get to stay at like a Holiday Inn or
No,
something?
so you'll stay there for free, but it's like it's gross. Like it's like it looks like a Eastern European Airbnb. Like it's just like
Ooh.
gray and
That does-
And then
sad.
you got to drink at like a helium chain in Des Moines.
Yeah.
That I don't mind as much. I can do two things anywhere. Drink and sleep.
Yeah.
But I would prefer to be in a shitty hotel to a shitty random
I don't want a
condo.
shitty anything. That's why I can't do the road dog shit.
It's tough.
So yeah, look for me in Boone, North Carolina next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
But that sounds fun. And you know that sounds fun. You just had App State on your mind.
Yeah, but they also just got obliterated by a hurricane.
Yeah, it's probably pretty bad there right now. They did obliterate JMU, though. But we're not here to talk about college football. We're here to talk about history. And I have a fun one today, I feel like. Because it doesn't involve murder and religion or like any crazy shit like that.
It involves nothing at all.
It's just kind
We're
of.
just going to rip.
Is it going to be
yeah.
like history of sound?
Yeah. So many scientists believe the first sound
Say what you
happened-
will about Jake. He has some of our most listened to podcasts.
Unhinged.
History of
episodes,
Pets.
yeah.
History of
History
pets
of
and
music.
History of sound.
Or
Yeah.
sound, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't music.
It was sound.
Music would even make
Recorded
a
sound.
little bit of sense. It was just sound.
The people yearn for broadness.
They're not going to like this one then. This is a hyper-specific episode. We're here to talk about being a bad house guest.
Great. Timely.
Yeah, I guess it is. I didn't think about that, but it is.
With the holidays coming up.
Yeah. This is about two famous people in history.
Some could argue the Pilgrims were some of the worst house guests.
Yeah. I mean, they're squatters, basically.
They weren't using that land. Well, you just got to,
What are you going to do? Just use your land?
yeah.
Let
Stupid.
it live?
Well, no one was living there. If you're not living there, like, it is funny to me that the same people who, not wrongly, by the way, are like, you took the Indians' land, but like no one was living on that land. If you like have a huge lot now, like if you have a humongous like 5 acre, they'd be like, who needs that? Like me.
Me.
I need it.
Well,
Listen,
like plants.
I don't have it,
You
but
might, you might not have been using it that moment, but maybe you had plans for it.
That's
Like
true.
you wanted to garden, no,
Grow some
farm,
crops?
farm, yeah.
Yeah.
we
Garden.
made maize better. Corn on the cob beats
Popcorn.
beats maize 1,000 times out of 1,000.
I'll actually do you two better on that. Europeans improved significantly potato usage. I don't know what Indians were doing with potatoes, but it is not superior to a French fry or quite a few, or vodka for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And this one
the
actually,
Irishman's dilemma.
yeah. This one could actually go either way. So give me your thoughts on
Eat
it.
the potato now.
Who uses tomatoes better, Europeans or North Americans?
Well, we made pizza.
Yeah.
But salsa is fucking rad.
Salsa's good.
Yeah, but the best salsa, of course, is
Enchiladas.
made in New York City.
I would actually.
I feel like there's more varieties of European tomatoes.
I mean, Italian food alone feels like it wins the tomato war
Yeah.
over. But although that's ironic because I would most days rather eat salsa than, or like
Spaghetti.
Mexican food with salsa on it than like a pasta. I don't
Yeah.
like pasta that much.
Hmm.
Not a pasta guy.
Not a pasta guy.
No, not a bread boy. I try not to be.
Yeah, I'm not a bread girl. But I do miss pasta, like good pasta.
You're going to hit your carb macros pretty easily with just a little bit of pasta.
Just a square lasagna. You
Yeah.
got it for the week, basically.
Yeah, you don't need any more than that.
Yeah.
You get enough energy to just go ham in the gym for 2 weeks.
That's what Serena Williams, I believe, the night before any match would just go bananas on some carbonara.
I was just going to say carbonara is like,
Yeah.
that's what I,
Carbonara.
heavy on the carb.
Yeah. She would just like
It's just butter and cream and cheese and
Yep.
bacon.
Just carb alone.
fat and carbs and
Oh,
like
it's so
just
good.
Gives you all that energy you need to just take down a little petite Russian.
it was funny. The only thing funnier than watching Serena Williams beat the shit out of like 110-pound like Russian or Ukrainian or Bulgarian woman was when she would lose to them, and I would just be like, how could you possibly? It was an Italian woman, and it was like the U.S. Open semifinals. We worked at TFM. I remember watching the match live at work, and this was like it was like a skeleton woman. Like she was just like, and Serena lost to her, and I was just like, how is this possible?
I do love watching when they lose. Like, they just don't hold it in at all. Like, when they're pissed off at themselves or, like, when they're yelling or breaking rackets,
Oh,
I love it.
Tennis players are psychopaths.
They're fucking insane.
You can't be mentally healthy and be a tennis player.
No.
And Roger Federer is a miracle, to be honest. Like, Agassi did meth. Pete Sampras doesn't have a personality, so he never had any personality to lose.
And he's apparently very cheap.
Pete Sampras?
Yeah, I read Agassi's book, and he made some bet at Pete Sampras was there, and he bet his dinner companion, like, oh, I bet he doesn't tip the valet more than $5.
That's
And then on the
awesome.
way out, he gave the valet $20. He was like, how much did Pete tip you? And he was like, $1.
A lot of the greats do.
That sounds accurate to Pete Sampras.
Tiger Woods also cheap man.
I never
Cheap
liked
as hell.
Never liked Sampras. Anyone who is a Sampras fan is boring as shit. But yeah, watching Serena Williams lose to a POW was always interesting. I was just like, bad. Didn't eat your carbonara last night? What's going on?
Didn't carb
Yeah.
enough.
But anyway, we're talking about Bad House guests today. And specifically, we're talking about...
Me coming over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. You are not invited,
Why not?
and you don't remember my address. So,
I know where you live.
you know,
I'm going to knock up.
all right.
You are in a gated community. I
gonna have
do not know how to
leftovers.
access it. I can hop the fence, though.
Easy.
Just wait for another car to go through. It's
Yeah.
very easy. This gate doesn't work very well.
Yeah, it's not like a security guard. It's
Yeah, there's
just
not a
gate.
tower. There's not a little man in a box.
There should be a drawbridge and a moat.
There should be a moat.
Yes, I agree with that. But the HOA fees would be higher to pay for all the drowning lawsuits.
There is a medieval castle in Texas.
I've seen it.
Is it the one on the way to Fredericksburg?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, yeah. That one's sweet. I think you can have wine there.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a winery?
I think so.
They might have converted it to it, but I was just some fucking
And like an
rad
Airbnb
rich
or
dude
something, probably.
just trying to live his Crusader days.
We're so tacky.
You wouldn't want to live in a castle?
In Europe, but not here. To build
A
a
new
castle
castle.
from scratch, that's so that's embarrassing.
You just have a house.
But
Just have a house.
but Gabby, what if there were castles before?
Before.
That's one of my favorite stand-up bits I ever heard was a guy who was like, yeah, but it's probably a lie, like, but I love the story anyway. He's like, yeah, my girlfriend's real dumb. He was in St. Louis. He was doing anything. He's like, we were driving over the bridge, and she was like, she saw the arch, and she was like, who built that? And he was like, I just turned around, I was like, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's just been there. And I like that. I want to think the same
Like
thing.
the Alamo.
Yeah, I want to think the same thing with like the castle, the Alamo, and everything. When did that get built? We don't know.
Like
We
you could
don't
look
know.
on Google Earth for satellite images where it didn't exist. Like it definitely is in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Dude, Google doesn't matter to some people. I saw a clip going viral on Instagram the other day talking about how an Egyptian tomb was found under an Ohio farm.
Seems inaccurate.
It was.
Yeah.
It's very easy to fact
Someone
check.
put that in there.
Yeah.
People spent at least a minute, because it was on Instagram, just talking about this Egyptian tomb under Ohio that referred to some giants. It is very easily
we have
disproven.
done an episode on North American giants.
Egyptian, though?
Yeah, why not?
Egyptian
toss it in?
from via Ohio.
Yeah, do the Joseph Smith Mormon thing, like ancient people just sailed across the.
They just got here and nobody knows how.
Yeah,
They weren't far from Memphis, Tennessee.
I do think which was named, by the way, because there.
Is it on the same parallel?
No,
Or like,
not
nothing?
why. The whole area. There's a lot of cities named after Egyptian cities.
Philadelphia.
Well, that's different because Philadelphia is a Greek name.
Yes, but it is in Egypt.
That's fine, but it wasn't named till Alexander got there, so it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But like Cairo, Illinois, Memphis, Tennessee, all this stuff, they were named because they were finding mounds from Native Americans there, pyramids, essentially, mound pyramids, and they were like, oh, this is like New Egypt. So they just started naming cities after Egyptian cities.
Oh, we're so stupid.
Or basic.
What else are we supposed to do? Make up our own names?
Yeah.
Stupid.
No, that's how you get some really bad names. You go with the classics. Otherwise, you end up with like...
But I like when they put new. Like if you're going to reuse a name.
It should be New Memphis.
Like, New
New
Memphis.
York.
New York. I've been
New
to Old
Jersey.
York. Old York is cool.
I've never been to Old York. Is that where your boy is from?
No, but we went there
Just
for
went
a
there.
weekend. Yeah.
Just check it out. What's better, New York, Old York?
I mean, they're very different, but Old York fucking it's cool. It has like a New Orleans-y vibe.
I like when you
Oh.
split it north and south. North Dakota, South
South
Dakota,
Dakota,
North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah,
Very basic.
I'm into that.
Keep
All right,
it
let's get into
clean.
this episode. Good Lord,
'Kay,
it's been
let's do
17
it.
minutes. So it's easy to forget that famous people were alive at the same time a lot of times, right? Like we know like the Beatles and Elvis were around at the same time, but the further you get back, the more you sort of like silo people. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to forget that Mozart and the Marquis de Lafayette, the man who helped America get free, were the same age.
The craziest thing being like Helen Keller and Martin Luther King were alive at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like it just weird. You just silo people off, kind of.
Helen Keller was best friends with the Japanese emperor.
She met Hirohito and encouraged him to hit Pearl Harbor,
Mm-hmm. And she was all about eugenics.
which is ironic, but
No, dude, she wasn't born that way.
she wasn't born
It was
that way.
6 months later.
She would not be dancing along to that Lady Gaga song if she could have heard it, which she could not, because she was not.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I think she heard everything. So
Yeah, she was a fraud.
a
We know.
perfect example of two people who are alive and working and famous at the same thing at the same time that you just kind of don't think about is Charles Dickens and Hans Christian Andersen.
Huh. Yeah. HCA seems much more modern in my mind.
Exact same time. Well, maybe that's because Hans Christian Andersen, if you don't know his works, they include The Emperor's New Clothes, The Little Mermaid, The Princess and the Pea, The Ugly Duckling, and Thumbelina are some of his most famous fairy tales.
All bangers.
All bangers. And he was one of the most famous authors at the time.
Emperor's New Groove?
Kind
No.
of. That's what it's based on.
Oh.
I mean, that's what that movie's based on.
Yeah.
So he was born in Denmark. Obviously, Charles Dickens is English. But they were big, famous writers at the same time. Now, Dickens got famous first, although most of his biggest works didn't come out till after the two met. He was still already super famous by the time they did meet. Dickens was arguably the most famous period content creator of that era.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we shall refer to both of these
Content
people.
creators.
Content creators.
Of course, yeah.
From now on.
Yeah, but Dickens was around the same time as... Never mind.
Who were you going to say?
Twain?
Yeah.
So I would say Twain's up there.
Twain was, I will say this, Dickens, they were alive at the same time. Dickens was famous before Twain. Twain was like, when did Huck
Well,
Finn
we don't
come out?
have an adjective for Twain or Hans Christian Andersen the way we have Dickensian.
Dickensian, yeah. So they were alive at the same time, but Dickens was putting out his best work in the 1840s and 1850s, and Twain was putting out his Huckleberry Finn came out in 1884.
Yeah, and we refer to it as Twainese.
Twainese,
Twainesque.
Not Twainese.
Dickensian, Twainesque. All right. So it turns out, like a lot of people, it was a thing when the Beatles met Elvis. Allegedly, they freaked out because they were huge Elvis fans. They were huge Chuck Berry fans. Well, when Hans Christian Andersen met Charles Dickens, he was a huge fan of Dickens, so he freaked out. He was like, "Oh my God, I love you. You're the fucking best. I'm a huge fan." And Hans Christian Andersen, when they met, they were in London. And they were at a little soiree. Hans Christian Andersen, obviously Dickens was already famous, already a big author. Hans had just had his first kind of big hits. And he was on a sort of European tour. His stuff had just been translated into English, so he was on a promo tour in England.
Hans is Sabrina Carpenter. Dickens is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, great way to put it. Perfect way to put it, in fact.
For
No,
all
it's
of your
not.
listeners that love him.
No, it's not.
That was a perfect analogy.
That's...
I'll take no
It
notes.
is.
Our audience is 96% men. I don't know if they... I found out who Sabrina Carpenter was like 3 weeks ago.
Well,
Do you like her?
Not really.
Do you think she's hot?
Eh.
What?
I mean, obviously she's attractive, but she's a tiny, tiny woman. And
So?
a spinner.
she kind of seems try-hardy.
She's brat. Okay.
No,
she's
she's a
not
tryhard.
brat.
She's
She's
brat
not
pop.
brat.
She's trying to do
That's Charlie.
over-sexualize
Oh.
herself because I guess she was a child star, so she has to make up for being
She's
on, like, Nickelodeon.
ironically sexualizing herself, but it's also straightforward.
She's
It's
taking-
both.
Yes.
Your monkey brain can't handle the layers that this woman is
4'11"
putting out there.
woman.
No, it's one of those
Is she
girls
4'11"?
I
that
think she
tries
says
so
she's 5
hard to
feet
be
tall, but-
cool
So yeah,
and over-sexualize herself, and then she's a total fucking nothing in bed. I bet she's...
I don't think any celebrities are good in bed.
No.
Like you can't be
I disagree, and let me tell you why. I think that she's getting the best dick of her life right now. I also think Taylor Swift is getting the best dick of her life.
Doesn't
right now.
require her to do anything.
But yeah. But they're both also having sex with celebrities. Is what I'm saying though. The difference is though, Barry Keoghan looks like a fucking sewer creature,
he does.
and so he's got to give good dick.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If you're not a pure 10,
Right.
you gotta serve.
Yeah. And Travis
He hasn't been famous his whole life, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would think he's hooked up with
And he
women
is weird
beforehand.
looking, and he is short for a man.
Is he?
I think he's
A
like
lot of
under
actors are.
5'10".
Yeah, he's actor height.
So
Like,
5'10" is
when
not
the
actor
pictures
height.
of them are
Oh,
together.
5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actor height.
That's actor height.
Jesus. And then Kelsey, obviously he's famous, but he's a big dumb athlete who just like
Oh yeah.
slangs it.
He's a himbo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't really... Some athletes are just kind of lazy, too.
I know. Some athletes will be like, all right, girl,
He's
get
not
on it."
having a good year, is he? I've
He's
heard.
having a fine year.
He
Yeah.
waits to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the most
Chiefs are
accomplished tight
9-1.
ends in the playoffs.
His year's going fine.
Okay.
The quarterback's not having a good year either. Mahomes is having a statistically not a great year.
Let's not date this, guys. Evergreen content.
Evergreen content.
Okay. So,
Well, hell, maybe Mahomes will suck ass for the next 6 years. You never know.
so
they-
wait, they meet up.
So they meet at the soiree, and Hans Christian Andersen is like, I'm here. I've just translated my work. I love you so much. You're awesome. I'm like a huge fan. And they say, never meet your heroes.
Hmm.
But the moral of this story is you should never meet your fans.
Oh,
Don't
Dickens
invite
was
them to your
actually
house.
cool.
What?
Dickens was cool. This dude's a fucking loser.
In my mind,
Yes.
it would have been the other way around.
Yeah. It goes real bad.
Aren't
for
the Danes a little autistic?
Little off.
oh, I don't know if the Danes are, but Hans Christian Andersen is straight up autistic, and that is what the story is all about.
Oh my god.
Autistic house guest doesn't sound bad.
Yes, it does. They don't pick up on social cues. So when you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna turn in, and they're like, oh, I've got a lot of energy. What do you mean? Or a little like
I'll
they
come
don't
to bed with you, and I will discuss things with you. Like that is this whole episode is what this is
It's
about.
like, there's no coffee left. I guess you must make more.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So, by the way, first I wanted to say, because this is just a interesting.
So he's just refilling pots of coffee. That sounds awesome.
So it's really funny to me, by the way. I don't know why I thought it was like never meet your fans or whatever. And I don't want to like shit on fans because we're a podcast with
Yeah, are
fans,
you
obviously.
subtweeting our entire audience right now?
But one thing that I thought about when writing that line was, you know what's weird about the Kendrick Lamar Not Like Us? The diss track on Drake, Not Like Us?
It's mostly sung by white men.
No, he calls him a fan. You a fan, you a fan, you a fan. He calls him a fan a bunch, right? Like that's an insult.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insulting to say to another artist.
Especially one of the biggest artists in the world.
But why would the fans bop along to that? Because all he's saying to Drake is that you're as low as the other people listening to this song.
I'm still Team
I feel
Drake.
like with fans, it's like if you just like the thing and you have no interest in doing the thing, that's one thing. Like that's a cleaner relationship versus like fans that are like, oh, I'm a writer too. Read my script. Read my whatever. Like that's more of like it's a transactional fan relationship.
I think it's just very hard for me to listen to that and not be like, how does not every fan think like, what?
Also,
I'm a fan.
Not a fan. He was his muse. Kendrick had not made music in quite some time. And all of a sudden just made track after track after track.
Are you Team Drake?
Oh, yeah, I'm big time Team Drake. I think Kendrick's a loser.
Yeah, Dan likes to shit on me for liking crappy music, then he loves Drake.
Drake's formulaic. I know what he is. He makes nothing but hits.
No, Drake sucks. His music sucks.
No,
I thought
true.
that before Kendrick Lamar. Drake is mediocre as fuck.
It's not true.
Absolutely vapid.
Boring,
I will always
vapid.
have Take Care, 2011, the album to my college days.
Yeah, your sentimental attachment to it is meaningless to me. It sucks. It's bad.
It's not bad.
It's not good.
I mean, he's literally one of the biggest artists in the world.
Anyway, remember that the next time you listen to Not Like Us is that one of Kendrick Lamar's biggest disses on Drake is that he's as low as you, the person listening to it.
You, the person giving me the stream.
Yeah.
Rob does that when he comes in studio. He just kind of spits on you.
I'm like, fuck, another fan. I would love to just spit in the face. I'm like, what are you going to do about it, fan?
No,
Get
you
out of here,
wouldn't.
fan.
Fan.
You don't
Nice.
watch us. You don't watch us talking to these little microphones. Little fan.
Little cuck. There's nothing more cuck than being a fan. I go home and I stare at a wall.
You don't listen to podcasts.
I don't do
Rob
shit.
doesn't. He
I actually
hates
don't listen to
podcasts.
podcasts.
He hates that we're in this industry.
Why would I listen to? I have to do that every day. How is that relaxing to come home? Like, does a chef want to come home and cook?
You listen to top 40 music.
I listen to all types of music.
It's mostly top 40.
It is
in your headphones
literally not.
blaring.
I will listen to Not Like Us and then switch over to the Dear Evan Hansen soundtrack and then switch over to fucking Raconteurs and then switch over to fucking Sabrina Carpenter and then switch over to fucking Fish and then switch over to fucking Blink-182. Suck my dick. I listen to only top 40. I will listen to literally anything.
I really can't talk, though. You know what I've been listening to at the gym lately?
Drake?
No. It's worse. You know how I'm in a Crusader phase right now?
Oh, Jesus. So you're listening to Gregorian chants? Or you just
Yeah,
fucking...
I'm listening to
No.
Templar chants in the rain.
What the fuck? That's mentally ill.
To listen to that at the gym, like that's something you listen to when you're like going to sleep.
It's like thoughtless.
I know. It's weird.
Like your
I'm in
mind
a
is
phase.
racing so much.
I'm in a phase.
Okay.
I'll put on Viking. Like the Viking music has the drums, so that's a little bit more amped up.
I like the sea shanties.
Sea shanty's good.
Yeah. Or like those Irish like drinking songs.
Yeah, the fucking lads that went viral during COVID wearing the tight
Sea
polos.
shanties were a big TikTok trend for a while. Although I
Yeah.
realize there's like several Beatles songs that are just sea shanties, including Yellow Submarine. Yellow Submarine is a sea shanty.
Totally is.
I want to just be totally clear on that. We all live on a yellow submarine. That is something you scream while drunk.
Yeah, on a boat.
Yeah. So anyway,
So he hates his fan.
Hans, well, not at first,
Not at
right?
first.
So Hans is like, oh my God, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And they have a nice interaction. and he leaves to go back to Denmark. And he writes to his friends on the way back that Dickens, quote, quite answers the best ideas I had formed of him. So he's like, Charles Dickens was everything and more.
Exceeds
so
expectations.
Cool, so awesome. I love Charles Dickens. And a couple weeks later, Dickens is like, oh, you know what? That guy was weird but sweet. So he sent him a package containing a note and some copies of a dozen of his books.
Mm-hmm.
And Andersen, who was noted for his social awkwardness, noted for his complete lack of understanding social cues, being a normal human being, was like, oh my God, we're in love.
Oh no!
We're the best friends that ever existed.
That is fun when you encounter somebody and they're talking about another person that they've maybe hung out with once or twice, and like, oh, dude, we're great friends.
Dude, he's the fucking shit. Dude, I'll text him.
I'll
DM him.
Want me to hit him up right now? Like, I can get him on the phone right now. Dude.
Oh,
you want to talk to him?
You have his number? No, we DM on Instagram a lot. It's fucking sweet. But it's text. That's texting.
Right. Be like, yeah, dude. Me and Mickey Gall were best friends.
Yeah, dude, I'll fucking hit him up.
We've DM'd like 4 times.
Yeah. So
I produced a show once.
Hans Christian Andersen becomes obsessed with Charles Dickens. Right? It is literally like you are a normal person, you're like a normal, like, I guess, rapper or whatever, and you meet Kanye West once, like, 2008.
I like how you clarified.
Yeah, 2008, and
I mean, meeting Kanye right now is very on the table.
Oh, we could easily.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now.
Yeah.
He's looking for platforms.
He also recorded one of his albums at the W in Austin.
Really?
He was living at the W in Austin for a minute.
I will still listen to Kanye.
Oh yeah. What?
I've been on an old Kanye kick lately.
It has nothing. His insanity has nothing to do with that music.
He has the best gym track.
He does.
Blood on the Leaves.
So many. Black Skinhead. That used to be when I was in college. That'd be like my hype up music before like an exam.
It reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just blasted.
Travis Scott did the exact same song on his new album. It's just like a total rip-off of Black Skinhead.
I don't listen to him. He's a murderer.
Because he killed a lot of people.
Because he killed a lot of people.
I think that his music crushes
People.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Specifically.
And honestly, that's an irresponsible song to make. You've already crushed people to death at your concerts, and then
you're making a
let
rip-off
me get
Black
something that gets the
Skinhead.
people hyped.
Yeah.
You just have like drones flying over the crowd, misting them with cocaine, and that song comes on.
And he didn't even apologize.
Never cared.
Or because he could have had like a reckoning.
I think it's the type of thing where, on the low, he's proud of it. And he's like, dude, my music gets people going so hard. Imagine this scenario.
Ugh.
Like, our podcast made someone laugh so hard that they were listening
stroked
to it in
out.
the car. They were listening to a car. They were laughing so hard. They swerved into oncoming traffic and died. And we were like, oh, that's horrible. We never. But like on the
that's a bit of a badge of honor.
Behind the scenes, we're like, dude, we're the funniest motherfuckers going.
We got to do Killed.
Yeah. And that would make me proud. So in a way, I understand what Travis Scott is going through.
Okay.
I mean, cocaine dealers or any type of drug dealer kind of thinks that way too, right? Like their product killed somebody. That's how you get business.
If it's too pure.
That's how you lose business.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
If it's stepped on. Not if
Technically, no, dude, you don't understand the game like I do.
Please
if you
explain.
do kill somebody, people seek that out. They're like, shit, that's the strong stuff. That's the good stuff.
But that's not the case anymore.
It is.
Now it's just.
I'm not even talking about cocaine. I'm talking about heroin.
Fentanyl in it. It's pooped
I'm
in.
talking about heroin, really.
So old school heroin?
You want the kill me heroin.
Yeah. I guess if you do it in the right dosage, then it's just efficient heroin. But if you do too much of it, then it's kill me heroin.
I think it's just fun until it's not.
Yeah. Like most things.
I would go old school with it. Maybe get some opium.
I have smoked opium before on accident.
What do you mean?
I mean, I was at a party in high school,
Ew.
and someone passed me a bowl.
And you thought, why wouldn't you think that it's just weed?
And I was like, that tasted weird. And they're like, it's opium. And I was like, what the fuck?
And you were at his house for 4 days.
I was like, you dickhead.
An opium den with
Are you
with
fucking where
minors.
I was like, where did you even get this? Do you have a time machine? What the fuck?
In St. Louis I wouldn't have thought.
Is there a big Chinese
too.
population in St. Louis?
I did live near the Chinatown of St. Louis.
That's probably where you got
There
it.
were no opium dens, though.
Not that you
That
know.
you
of.
know of.
2003.
Just because it's not on Yelp doesn't mean it's not there.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
So-
you get a little rug
So what
and
did
tug.
he do?
Hans Christian Andersen is now like, oh, me and Dickens are best friends. So for the next 9 years, Hans Christian Andersen sends him letters, fan mail. The letters were basically like, you're the best. Oh, you're so amazing. Will you read my books? Oh, I read your most recent serialized story in the London Times or whatever. I had it sent to me. It was amazing. You're such a brilliant writer. I love you. And Dickens...
Does he leave him on red?
No, but you can tell, like, at first Dickens is like, oh, thank you, that's so sweet. And eventually it just becomes like, K.
Yeah.
Like, he does write back, but it's the Victorian equivalent of K.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, sweet.
Appreciate
I
it.
mean, I do
Of, like-
have a bunch of DMs from fans. That's just meme after meme after meme. I've had people
And you just
send
double,
me.
you just heart everything and
That's
keep
not a-
moving.
I don't even do it at this point. I used to, but they've sent it for like 2 or 3 years straight, and I've just because I have to clear the notification. It bothers me if I have notifications. I have to look at it every time, so I just scroll and I scroll.
I mean, any video or meme without comment, I'm not replying to. Without comment,
no comment, just meme
not getting a
video.
reply.
If you wait
have
long
children.
enough, the DM notifications go away. Because I leave things on
Okay.
red.
Look at you, girl.
It would still bother me.
Yeah.
You getting slid into?
And not often, but sometimes it's like, there's like a few reply guys that I'm just like, I don't
Yeah,
really.
I only have
Oh, do you have
dudes.
guys that like reply to your stuff a lot?
Yeah.
That's down bad.
Same.
And
it-
like they'll ask a
It's
random.
only
like,
dudes, Rob.
and
I
they'll,
only have reply
they'll
dudes.
ask a question.
Women don't do that shit.
No.
It's dudes.
It's too embarrassing.
Is it?
I don't know.
Do you have shame that men don't possess? Probably.
Well, yeah. Womanhood is shame.
The
Fair
woman
enough.
doesn't lead the dance.
Fair.
She's along for the ride.
Long for the ride.
Fucking fans.
Like a good girl.
Fucking fan. This episode is entitled "Fuck Fans."
Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of our entire audience.
Yeah.
Let's just
And if
blow
you
up our
hate
income.
them, subscribe to the Patreon
but,
to really
so
tell them.
Hans was.
That's what they want. They need us to neg them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you little bitch.
You little pay
What do you
pig.
pay me? Then maybe I'll
Fucking-
reply to your dumb shit. Fuck you,
Honestly, that would be a good tier of like,
pay pig.
yeah, like a pay big tier. Like they just pay double,
Yeah.
and then they're like they get priority on in your inbox.
I love that.
Dan has to reply.
Actually, that is a thing on Instagram already because you can subscribe to people's Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a thing on our Patreon because
It
we have a
is.
Discord, and I will respond to you on the Discord because you do pay.
Yeah, you're in
us.
the Discord. You're a Patreon subscriber.
Dan's in the Discord.
I haven't been in a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I get in there. I'll respond to people, but definitely not Instagram and Discord. I can't do both.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I
It's a
think
lot of
Discord's
talking.
better.
It's a lot of talking to a lot of different people.
And most of the notifications I get, the memes that are sent to me, aren't even for our show.
None of them are for
They're
our
like,
show.
pass this along to such and such. I'm like, no,
No.
I will not do
Send
that.
it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm not your messenger boy.
So, in 1856, 9 years of letters later, Dickens is finally just sends him like a fuck you letter.
Ooh, what does it say?
I don't know what it says, but it's essentially like very. If you understand social cues and the English language, you would understand that it's the sort of flattery that is obviously sarcastic and mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
But he doesn't.
But Hans does not.
Think about the
And, like-
pressure as a writer, though. Every letter you send has to be kind of top notch.
Yes,
Yeah.
kind of. Although I like. There's a
You
great.
can't send a bad
there's a
letter
great-
as a writer.
There's a great 30
They were
Rock.
just better at writing though.
There's
letters.
a great 30 Rock joke where.
Yeah, but some people comes more naturally. Some people kind of hammer it out, a lot of editing and stuff. But if you're just writing
Let it
a
rip.
letter to
Let it
a
rip.
fan,
Let it rip. There's a good 30 Rock joke where Liz was talking to Jack and he's like, you need to send me a card for whatever, my daughter's birth, I think it was. And he was like, and don't make it funny. And she's like, well, but I'm a comedy writer, so I think people maybe expect it. And he's like, they don't, they hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
didn't feel that kind of pressure though when you were giving your best man speech.
I gave a very normal best man speech.
I don't like to be funny when in heartfelt situations.
I did the right amount of humor. I feel like in the right amount
It's
of
typically
heartfelt.
expected from the best man, though, to have a bit of humor.
I did give a bit of humor. I told,
But
you get one good anecdote.
I told two little funny stories, like not back to back either. Like one funny story, then another funny, like a tinier funny story later, and
But
was just
you
nothing
were
but complimentary the rest
You
of the
gotta
time.
You're a
grab the
paid comedy
attention,
writer.
build the tension,
Right.
You felt no pressure?
release the tension.
Oh, I felt a lot of pressure because they knew that too. Everyone was like, "Oh, he does funny for a
Did you work
living."
on it for a long time, or did you
No,
just bang it out?
I
the day
outlined
of?
it mostly that day.
Me too.
I had like points in my head,
Yeah.
but yeah, I knew what I was gonna say to some extent before that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
did it that day.
You should have just gave a best man speech like your brother did for you.
Oh, mean and with nothing.
And with nothing about how much he loves you.
Yeah,
and
he
Courtney
never
Or
and-
brought it-
Courtney even. Honestly,
You never
me-
brought it around.
Yeah, I know. Me was one thing, but like he didn't even say anything nice about my wife
No.
on her wedding. So like, yeah, it's
That's
not.
like Taylor's dad at Veronica and Taylor's wedding.
Yeah.
Taylor's dad's speech was all about
Well, guess you're lesbian.
all about all the different ways that nobody gave a fuck about Taylor or her wants or needs as a child, and all the ways that he doesn't understand her,
Yeah.
and didn't talk about Veronica once. It was like Taylor hated wearing dresses, and Taylor hated
Yeah.
this, and she wanted to do this.
Thought she'd grow out of the whole lesbo thing, but turns out here we are. I'm paying for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Love you anyway.
And he was like, "But we love you anyway, Taylor, even though you won't wear a dress."
Yeah, but shouldn't Veronica's family pay for the wedding?
They did.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
oh,
she's-
that's right.
Yeah.
I'm
She- I
sorry,
mean,
it's just
obviously
a wedding
the-
between two women. I'm
Yeah, but
fucking.
she's not the groom.
Yeah.
I
The groom
understand
doesn't
that.
pay for
The
the wedding.
groom. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the rehearsal dinner.
And I
so
mean,
don't know how that
Taylor.
was.
It was
Taylor is a groom for
Taylor.
sure.
Yeah, they paid for the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, it was a great wedding,
it was great.
and I actually like her dad. But
Yeah, it
I,
was cool. But it was just
I've
like
had
a.
great conversations with them.
It was just not a
I
good
understand,
speech.
but you know what?
It was a bad speech.
It's not a real wedding unless a family member pisses you
Fucks
off.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for me and Courtney both had a family member do that. But that's as
great.
far as I'll go into that, for her sake.
For her sake.
Yeah. So, Dickens sends this letter.
Was it the girl that didn't show?
The what?
The friend that didn't show?
Not friend.
Ah,
Closer than that.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Hans gets this letter, and Dickens is like, "Oh, you're so great and cool, and I've loved these letters you sent are awesome. I've loved our last 9 years of correspondence. In fact, why don't you visit? That's how great your letters have been. Come on and stay with me for a while."
Oh,
Can't do that to an autist.
And Hans was like, "Oh, great.
I'll pack my bags.
I'm coming."
There's an invitation.
Yep.
Thank you.
So in March
Gladly.
1857,
They need a sarcasm font. We always have.
yeah,
It's a continued problem.
I don't think even the font would have helped here.
No.
But so in 1857 in March, Andersen's like, "Awesome, I'm coming for 2 weeks in the summer.
Oh,
I'm going to stay with you for 2 weeks."
2 weeks is a long time for a house guest.
Mhm. And Andersen wrote, but at least back then, I will give credit to everything's slower, right? You can't expect someone
Yeah,
to
if
only
it takes like a month to get
you can't
there.
expect someone to only be there for 3 days. Yeah. So he said a fortnight. I think that's fair.
That's, yeah.
Andersen wrote, quote, "My visit is intended for you alone. Above all, always leave me a small corner in your heart."
That's all he wants. Not room and board. Just a place in his heart.
Just a small corner.
Why is he going to be so cold and calculated?
So he shows up.
In July 1857, he gets there, and this is already not a good time for Charles Dickens.
Why?
By the way, not a
Getting
great
divorced?
time. He's considering leaving his wife for the teenager he's having sex with.
Sure.
That's not really hard on him.
Look,
It's a little
he's
harder
got
on
a
the
dilemma,
wife.
and then this weird Dane comes over.
Yeah, like his home life isn't great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can maybe distract
So
but when
Dickens-
you're fighting with your wife, is not the time to invite house
Distract
guests.
your wife with this man.
And Dickens is
So you can go get your side tail.
he's not there for her. He's only there for him. So Dickens is also
And he'll do him a solid.
making, I think, his acting debut, but definitely acting for the first time, for not that frequently of a time.
Be like, hey, man, you're really going to do me a favor if you take my wife out shopping right now. Would love that if you did it.
It will make your wife want to leave you.
Yeah.
Granted to that. I mean, I'll grant him that. But yeah, Dickens or Andersen was there for Dickens. So, and by the way, so Dickens was 44. The chick he was banging was 17.
Oof.
And he was also acting, I think, for the first time, but certainly not a lot of times before that if he had, in a play. And so that was fucking with him. And this chick was actually an actress in the play. That's how they met. And on top of that, Dickens was having, I guess, artistic business trouble or whatever because his latest serial that he was putting in the newspapers that would probably eventually be a book called Little Dorrit was getting horrific reviews. So bad things all around.
Not a good time.
So and then Andersen shows up. He's thinking about leaving his wife for a teenager.
So did Andersen say I'm coming?
Yeah.
Or he just showed up? Okay.
No, he wrote the letter in March and was like, I'll be there.
This is why I have friends that do this when I'm like, stop feeding the strays. Like, stop letting these people think that you are their friend. And they're like, oh, well, they're so nice. I'm like, of course they're nice. They're fucking weird.
Yeah.
And they don't have any friends.
And
And
they
that's why
need
they're
you.
latching on to you.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, some of them are still around.
They're nice, but do you want to introduce them
They're
to
still
people you know?
around. No.
Right.
Or like,
Yeah, but that's the entire stand-up.
or when you introduce people
scene.
to them to people you know, you have to like hedge it and be like, this is my friend, and like, you know, she's the one I told you about, and like, she's kind of weird,
Yeah,
like,
but where with
she's
me?
kind of in love with me. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Great.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds like it's
some
gonna
dude
be
at
a
the
very
fucking-
chill night.
Stop feeding the strays.
Some guy at the gym came up to me and he's trying to plan like us going out, getting drinks and stuff, being boys.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and I feel bad. I'm just like, I don't want to do it.
See, you're the kind
you
that
did it?
you're the kind.
I haven't done it yet, but
But he has your number, doesn't he?
no,
or your contact
he
info?
follows the podcast now,
Mm.
so maybe he'll hear this. But
Oh yikes!
I don't know how to tell him like, hey man, like I don't know, I don't really have an interest like in being your friend outside of the gym.
Oh, he's a gym friend?
It's a gym friend, yeah.
So
I have a lot of gym friends.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
really want to hang out with them.
Outside of the gym.
Yeah,
It's like a work friend.
exactly.
Where
it's
you're just like,
seeing you outside of this realm is weird.
yeah, like, hey, we can do work happy hours?
Yeah.
And obviously we're boys here.
Dude,
But like,
even
I got
work happy
I got a
hours, no.
life that you
I
ain't
got
a
a
part
life.
of.
I got a lot of stuff to do. This
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah, my best friend at the gym is 50 years old. He has 4 kids, a wife.
Wait, is this the guy?
No, different person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
this is
John
his
would ne-
actual best friend.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
other
no,
guy is just.
John
a
would
random.
never do this to me. He knows. He knows his place. We text. We'll talk to each
Because he
other.
has
at
4
the gym.
kids. He's got shit going on
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to go out with you.
No. But I mean, this kid's probably like our age.
God help you if he gets divorced, but
Yeah.
too. Divorce is hard on everyone.
everyone.
On the whole community.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I think he is new to town, so he's just. I think he's just trying to make
Aw.
friends.
That's rough.
I know.
You're like, hey,
It'd be
guy,
like a group hang.
you're barking up the wrong tree.
Like a one-on-one hang is aggressive.
You know what, though? I've been...
Right. Maybe I'll invite him for like when I go out with like 4 or 5 of my boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never had new-to-town problems here, I feel like.
No,
Because
never
you
did.
came into an office that was like...
Because our office,
friends.
we used to go out like 20 deep.
I had new-to-town problems when I moved here. Because when I moved here, the TFM office was 5 people. 1 was married. 1 was Ross Bolin, who kind of like had his own thing going on and everything
Right.
like that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2 were married. And then the other 2, like Ross just had his own friends.
Right.
And then...
I lived with like Jared and Boosh.
Yeah, I know. Like, I didn't have anyone to go out with for months. So sometimes when people were like, dude, why'd you hang out with college kids? I'm like, they're the only people I had to hang out with.
Yeah.
But that's how I got fat.
Going out,
Because I went out like 6 nights a week.
drinking beer.
Yeah,
Just don't drink beer.
I know.
Just fucking tequila water.
I know. I was a wild boy.
Yeah. But that was also pre-seltzer era.
Can you imagine? Pre-seltzer. It's such a far off time.
It feels like pre-iPhone.
Yeah. Pre-Uber.
Can you imagine how different college would have been with seltzer?
Yeah.
Oh, Uber had just come out and like
But not
as
in
soon
Austin.
as I moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I moved to Austin, Uber had not come out yet.
Yeah.
It was in Austin, but then it also went away.
And it went away. Yeah.
And then we had like Ride Austin for 2 years.
Never forget yelling at the entire TFM office for bitching about Uber going away and me being like, how many of you fucking voted? And no one raised their hands because I had.
I would never, Rob.
Yeah.
Why would
You
I
don't
do
vote?
that? I'm trying to stay off the grid. Trying to avoid jury duty.
You literally work online. But,
It's really to avoid jury duty.
okay, fair enough. So Hans shows up, and as soon as he does, shit gets weird. Like I said, he was not good at picking up on social cues or any kind of formal demeanor at all. And also, for whatever reason, I don't know if this is like autism or social disorder or whatever, he kind of always demanded that he be the center of attention.
Oh, I hate that.
Like he was always like, "Why aren't you paying attention to me? I'm the guest.
We don't do that.
Why aren't you paying attention
The
to me?"
autists do not.
Even as a guest, I'm like sometimes I'm like I just need a morning to myself.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be not perceived,
Hey,
even though I'm in your home.
I'm gonna be in my room for 4 hours.
Yeah, like I just want to read my book and drink coffee and like not talk
the
to
best
you.
type of guest.
Yeah.
100%. Like
Yeah.
if my like sister visits or something, and she's like, "I'm just gonna be in the room reading, or I'm gonna go to a coffee shop for a little while by myself."
That's a good guest. Is
Hell
like
yeah.
make yourself scarce.
Especially when especially if you do it like for me when the kids are napping, because it's nice to have an extra set of hands. So like you go when the kids are down and we're all good. Yeah, love it.
You know, what if it is somebody like your brother though? He does that, right? Like he's keeping to himself. He's doing his own thing, but then he like brings back some lady of the night.
I mean, with children in the house, I think that's bad. But I feel like if it's just like a house of adults.
Yeah.
Just, he's minding his own business, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
You're not minding your own business if you're shoving your dick in a random chick's pussy 8 feet away from where my kid sleeps.
But if
And
the
they're
kids
loud.
didn't exist,
They get loud,
if
Rob.
the kids didn't exist,
Then that's whatever, I guess. I'll just live with that. But like, yeah,
That's what
you
I'm saying.
can't be.
I don't think it's like I wouldn't be mad if somebody was in my guest room.
Daddy,
You know?
what's that?
Yeah. You can't be roping like you're at a fucking rodeo
Daddy, who's that?
near my kids. Yeah, especially because she's gonna be in the morning and shit. Like
Yeah.
get the and those
She
kids,
stays for
And by the way,
breakfast.
those children will be awake before the dirty whore is.
Oh yeah.
So dirty whore has to walk through and like at least be seen by the children. Now, right now they're not making memories, so any question they ask,
You
I
don't
can
know
literally
that.
just say like,
You don't know if they're making memories yet.
Rory might be, Finn's certainly not.
Kids are different. Just because you were a blank slate.
I think my first memory is 2 or 3.
I
So
feel like I was like 4.
I have a 3-year-old memory for a 3-year-old's memory for sure.
I've always been on grind mentality ever since I came out of the womb.
And then you don't remember much.
No, I remember everything.
Oh.
Why haven't you put it to use?
Why?
You're just like so smart that you don't. There's no point to anything.
Dude, I've already told you I'm on the 5D. You haven't reached my level of consciousness
yeah,
yet.
you took a lot of
Oh.
mushrooms at a Ren fair. So.
Oh, you did? Like how much? Like a heroic dose?
I did a hero's dose, yeah.
Nice.
And I followed one of our guests on the show, Scott Lopez, who was dressed as a wizard.
Yeah?
And that was fun. That's fun for me.
Did you, were things moving? I love when things move.
The
on
best
mushrooms.
was out in the wilderness.
Yeah, like trees.
It was a
trees vibrate.
super clear sky. The stars were illuminated,
Oh,
through my soul.
I want to do that.
It was fantastic.
That sounds fun.
It was beautiful outside. And then I came down, and the crowd at the Ren Fair is not what you want.
A lot of uggos and fatties.
Yeah, so reality kind of hits you,
It does.
kind of ruin the experience. But for a good 4 hours, I was just vibing.
It'd be really funny if you had just found someone you thought was beautiful, and then the mushrooms go away.
She's like a troll.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Actually, his experience sounded very accurate to that time period in a lot of ways. Smell, looks.
Mm.
Like you might have gone back in time,
Oh, I smell bad.
but the people too.
I smell really
You
bad.
had
the
fur,
people-
right? You had some sort of. You had furry something on your.
Yeah, I mean, I was dressed as a Viking. I had some Viking fur on me. I was with Shay, and she was like, "You smell like donkey dick."
That's nice.
Smell bad.
Good for
So
you.
what did Hans do?
Hans immediately gets to Charles Dickens' place and complains about how cold it is.
Wear a jacket.
Yeah.
It's July.
And the first morning after Hans arrives, so the next morning after Hans arrives, Charles Dickens comes downstairs. And he finds his son with Hans. And his son is shaving Hans.
Where?
Yes. How old's the son?
Not that old, but Hans.
Where shaving his head?
Yeah, shaving his face.
Okay.
It's just face, kind of like a
Okay.
straight razor.
And Charles Dickens is
You're
like,
just giving a 7-year-old a straight blade.
Yeah,
no,
like
no. The
a
7-year-old
razor.
was 7-year-old was shaving Hans.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Charles Dickens is like, what the fuck?
Day 2 is pretty harsh.
Yeah,
Like, it's
day
like-
1, really.
Like day 12, maybe you have a good enough relationship.
So he's like,
I don't put it past them though. Like 3-year-olds were working in the mines. All right, they're working
They
at factories.
yearn for the mines.
Yeah.
They want to use their hands.
They were working at factories. They
They
were
want
chimney
labor.
sweeping.
Children want to labor.
I guarantee he already knew how to shave someone.
maybe he did because he was doing, I guess, an okay job.
That
but
wasn't his first time.
Dickens
his
was
first
like,
rodeo.
what the fuck? And Hans Christian Andersen is like, well, in Denmark, it's tradition for when you have a house guest for the eldest boy to shave the house guest every morning. And Charles Dickens
Sounds
is like, all right,
pedo.
we're not in fucking Denmark. Oh my God. And so he was like, so for the rest of the time that Hans stayed there, Dickens just had a standing bill, a standing tab at the nearest barber to have Hans shaved every morning.
Ugh. And
'Cause
he's
he's
paying.
like, my son is not shaving
and
you.
he's paying for it. Like,
Yeah.
go get yourself shaved,
My son is not. Yeah, you're a famous author too, by the
or
way.
shave yourself.
He's like, my son's not fucking shaving you every morning. I will set an appointment at the barber down the street.
Like, what do you do when
Jesus
you
Christ.
don't have a 7-year-old boy around? Like, does he go somewhere every day?
It's just like when you stay there. So Hans was just like, oh, when I wake up tomorrow, the boy will shave me. This is how it goes.
I'm gonna do that with your child. I'm gonna break him like Ramsey broke Reek.
You know
Oh
what?
my God.
I am very excited for my child to accidentally
To have his
slit your
spirit
throat.
broken?
Yeah. No,
No.
to accidentally slit your
I'm
throat.
gonna mentally torment your child to the point that I can give him a straight
When do
razor
you think you're welcome?
and he will
But
shave.
he'll kill you anyway.
He
He
will
will
shave
kill
my
you.
beard.
I'm not too worried about it.
I'll get a nice trim up.
Rory will slaughter you.
Well, Finn's gonna be on my side, so it's all good.
Okay. So one night during dinner, shortly after this, Charles Dickens, they were having people over, they were having guests, right, whatever, and one of the ladies was going to sit down at the table, and Dickens held out his arm to take her over to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And Hans is like, oh, boy, we all get to hold hands with Charles. And he popped up and holds Charles' other arm, like links arm in arm with Charles.
No.
And is like, yay, we're walking around together. We're the best friends that
Ew.
ever lived.
I hate it. Ugh. I would have kicked him out.
Well, funny you say that because not
Right.
only
Give him another chance.
not only did Charles not kick him
It's
out,
going to get worse.
Hans stayed 3 weeks longer than he said he would.
2 weeks is enough. 5 weeks?
5 weeks total he stayed with them.
That's insane.
By
well,
the way,
you know, I mean, the conversion, they're in the metric system. Days are different.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes in Denmark.
As I mentioned earlier, Dickens was acting in a play at the time. That's how he met his teen lover. So at the premiere of that play,
Did he have the chops? Was he a good actor?
apparently he was fine. Yeah.
He wasn't like a Tarantino,
I would say he was like a Tarantino.
writing himself into stuff. And
Well, it
just
wasn't. It was not his play.
the
it was his,
worst delivery.
it was his buddy's play. So actually, it was like Tarantino in Dusk Till Dawn.
Tarantino.
But it still had the foot thing. It still had his thing.
Yeah, I think Robert Rodriguez threw that to Quentin.
that
as
was
a-
just a little bone he threw
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
him.
Boner.
like Quentin. He was like, Quentin, what do you want to get paid? And he was like, Selma Hayek's foot.
Selma Hayek's foot in my mouth.
Which-
I was at an open mic one time, and there was this like autistic weirdo guy and a stripper doing comedy, and the autistic weirdo guy is just like in the front row, and she just starts making fun of him, and she's like, I bet you would love it if I, and like he was like, yeah, and so it ultimately escalated to her taking her shoe off, putting her foot in her mouth, and sliding Lone Star down her calf into his mouth.
She's Selma Hayek, Lone Star.
She's
in his
Selma
mouth?
Hayek Lone Star into this open
It's the
micer's
best
mouth.
night of his life.
I would pay to go to that.
It was hilarious.
I would have tipped
It was
the
like
comedian.
and like he didn't stand up for a while. Like, you have a boner, don't
Yep.
you? You fucking pig.
That's what Rob wants to do to our fans. That's what he
Make
wants.
them drink
Selma
off my
Hayek them.
foot.
He wants to treat them like such.
I would do the Selma Hayek monologue from that movie and be like, "You'll be my dog." That's what.
That's basically what you already did in the intro.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Let me reiterate. You'll be my dog.
Tarantino in Pulp Fiction also decent, but there's a lot of roles where it's just like, man,
It's
just
just
wanted to say the
Tarantino. You just
M-word.
can't. Like, I wish he would do more like the Stan Lee thing, where he's just like a
he pops in.
cameo,
Doesn't have too
like a
many lines.
like
Oh.
a guy at a cafe who says one word.
First off, Pulp Fiction is the movie where he just wants to say the N-word because there's no reason to say it then. But I think he drops it in Reservoir Dogs as well. That makes a lot more sense.
Obviously,
to me.
Django makes sense.
He doesn't
for the
drop
time.
it. He doesn't drop it in Django. He goes, "Hi, black." He calls Jamie Foxx
Did
black.
you say Blackie?
No, he says black.
No.
He goes, "Hi, black," because he's also doing an Australian accent for some reason.
Of course. A lot of Australian slavers.
I mean,
it is what it is.
why not?
But it is funny because Tarantino, not a great actor, but you know who like crushes all of his roles?
Who?
Scorsese.
What? I don't even know what he's in.
He writes himself into stuff, and he's great.
I know. I just don't remember any of it because it's like one line.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
But he delivers it.
Quentin Tarantino has one of the biggest monologues in Reservoir Dogs.
Got to keep it moving. Got to keep them wanting more. Don't do too much.
Yeah. I mean, just hit your notes and get out.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself the star. You're the fucking writer.
Yeah. It's your
the
movie.
Director. Don't make yourself the
Hard
entire
disagree.
movie.
Do everything. Do everything.
Yeah, we know. We've seen exec board.
I was not the lead in exec board. But you know what?
You weren't the lead in exec board?
No. It was an ensemble.
That's not true.
It was definitely true.
You were the guy. You're the president.
The two best episodes, I'm in the least. And I wrote it that way.
Coincidence?
Yeah, right.
I think not.
I'm like rarely the lead in those episodes. Go back and watch them. Go watch
I think
Exec
Dan's
Board.
just mad at you today.
I know.
Dan's just serving heat.
What's funny is that the episode that did the best on TikTok is me with the lead. That's the one that got 1 million views.
The teens love it.
So suck my dick, Gen Z icon right here. Anyway, like I said, Charles Dickens, he's in a play, right? And Dickens is the leading role, and Queen Victoria is in the audience at this premiere.
Ooh. 2 seats. She's in 2 seats.
And Hans Christian Andersen is so proud of his friend at this premiere, this huge London premiere, that he loudly, attention-catchingly bursts into tears at the performance during the bows. It was just like, it's my friend. Oh, God, Charles.
I don't think I've even cried at my friends' weddings.
You're right.
That's so
He's
fucking
like,
weird.
I love you. Yeah.
I
it's
hate it.
horrific. He was also...
When's the last time you cried?
Me?
Yeah.
Today.
Whatever.
My mom told me I can't bring my dog for Thanksgiving, and I got pretty pissed.
Oh.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah.
My dog has ulcers in his eyes now, and I teared up.
Hmm.
No, you didn't.
They're going to burst.
You didn't tear up.
He's going to have to get his eyes removed at some point.
Both of them?
One for sure. The second one's starting
Are
to
there
go.
drops?
I gotta fill it with eye drops 3 times a day. He hates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pin him down and...
Yeah.
It's dog medicine. So, apparently, Andersen, like I said, he also liked to be the center of attention, right?
Yeah.
We'll just move on from your dog. Don't...
Sorry about Chase, though.
When's the last time you cried?
Me?
Yeah, the birth of
No
your
idea.
children?
No.
At your wedding?
No.
You didn't cry at your wedding?
No.
Shouldn't you cry when you see your wife walk down the aisle?
No.
It was kind of cold that day.
Wasn't
A
that
little
cold?
chilly. A little chilly.
Wasn't
but
bad. It was in New
super cold.
Orleans.
It was like
November is
50
beautiful.
degrees.
It was cold.
It
It
was
was
like
breezy.
55.
It was gusty.
It was a little cooler than we
I
thought
might have
it
been
was gonna
crying just because of the wind.
be. Yeah. I don't. I truly don't remember. last time
You
I cried.
weren't just tearing up from the beauty of your wife?
Nah, I'd hit that already.
Like, this is going to be the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a life with this
I
woman.
was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
Out of the race.
Yeah.
So he's crying at the play.
He's crying to play. He also is super, like I said, he also always wants to be the center of attention.
He's so annoying.
So he's super hyped to find out that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who's also there, were aware of his presence. He made, I guess he probably made sure, he's like, the Queen is here. Tell her that the author of those fairy tales is here. And I think someone told her, and she was like, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, famously they don't care.
So
Yeah.
did he have a weird dick? Is that why it's called the Prince Albert?
Yeah, gotta know.
Probably, yeah. So he still, though,
You looking that up right now?
was...
Hell yeah.
Andersen still ended up getting very upset at the play's after party, after the play was over, because people weren't excited enough that he was there, and he got very angry about it. Got very just dramatic about it, that people weren't happy to know that the author of the Little Mermaid was walking around,
People should know me.
including Queen Victoria. He thought he'd get a better response. Also,
Small time podcast, softcore history. Ever hear of it?
yeah, no big deal. Also, while he was staying with
Writer.
the Dickens family,
Host, producer. No love for me. No love for Danny Boy.
sucks, dude. Don't tell you.
Former writer for
You get love.
Total Frat Move. You ever
You
hear
get
of it?
love.
Fucking.com.
Not enough.
Wait, Prince Albert. It's rumored that he had the piercing, And it used to be called, the Victorian haberdashers called it the dressing ring, and they used it to secure the penis to the leg. And it was popular because men wore tight trousers, and the piercing helped make the penis less visible. The legend has it that also Prince Albert used the piercing to pull back the foreskin to keep his penis smelling fresh, so as not to offend the queen.
So it's more of a hygiene thing.
That is, by the way, when people are like, oh, it's so weird Americans get circumcised or whatever. Dicks get dirty inside
Dicks
of
do get dirty.
that. Stuff gets in there. Stuff gets in there.
I think it's a baby's choice.
Nah.
I don't think you should circumcise. I think
Oh.
everyone should be uncircumcised. And if you want to be circumcised, you can do it
I'm
when
like
you're
glad my parents
it's like a real
circumcised me.
full surgery when you're older, though. It's like chicken pox. It's not a big deal when you're a baby.
Right. That's why I'm saying you leave like 2 cookies for the baby.
This one is
And he can
circumcision.
crawl to. I mean, obviously he probably can't crawl, but he can just point to it.
They can't point either.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
Their eyes aren't even
They
barely
can look
open.
at something first.
They can't look.
Babies are useless.
Yes.
So yes,
Yeah.
cut their dicks off.
Not
their
off, just their
foreskin off.
foreskin.
The foreskin, yes. That's what I
Foreskin's
meant.
pointless.
I
It's
would never
pointless.
circumcise. Because I want my son to be able to study abroad and blend in.
No,
You want to be a trailblazer when you go to
Europeans
Europe.
crave that American dick.
Yeah,
Mm.
a little Texas twang with a circumcised P.
I don't know. I think it's better uncircumcised.
Well, it's your personal preference.
My
That would
personal
explain
preference.
your current boyfriend.
Although lint sometimes gets trapped in there.
Yeah, I know. Good luck. Enjoy that.
Sometimes you have to like.
You spit it out, you get a little hairball.
Well, like you can't spit it out. You have to like come up, and it's kind of like a buzzkill because you're like
yeah, you're a
plucking lint.
cat. Just
plucking lint
what
off your
what a
tongue.
case for uncircumcision.
Fair enough.
That is, by the way, like because when my kids were
I've never had to worry about that with my penis.
ever never gotten lint in my penis.
Not once.
Well, you also lost 100,000 feeling sensors, pleasure sensors. So
Yeah, that's what they
think
say.
about how good your orgasms could be.
It feels really good now.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
I
imagine.
don't know
Could
what,
it?
I'm
What would
missing.
it be like feeling 10 times better?
I hear that, and
I'd have a problem.
and I just don't buy it.
I'd have a problem.
Sounds like Americans go longer.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm lasting 15 seconds if I have 100,000 pleasure.
Not gonna go
Receptor-
great.
It's
that
not
I'm
pleasurable
now
for
missing.
anybody but you.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have that many.
I'm crushing it now, but
Yeah.
no one else is good. So,
That's
also
the key,
during
right? You got to chafe your dick to the point where you can't feel anything, so you can last forever.
you gotta what do you call it? Not lacerate.
Tantra.
Calcify.
You got
Or
to calcify your
calcify your
dick,
penis,
so
yeah.
like no pussy could ever get you off.
Mhm. So
That's straight as hell.
also Hans Christian Andersen, by the way, learned that one of his writing, well, I guess books or essays or something, what I don't know, didn't get a good review while he was staying with Dickens. So he ran out onto their front lawn and started weeping uncontrollably and loudly for hours.
He's so dramatic.
Yeah.
He's like the worst theater kid.
Oh, yeah. And I have a funny story about that, too, that we'll get to. Also, as a country boy, Andersen was suspicious of the London crowd and was terrified he'd be pickpocketed in the city. Dickens noted that one time Andersen got in a cab and the cab took a route he didn't expect to get to where they were going. Andersen immediately thought he was going to be robbed and murdered and started having a panic attack.
Jesus, he's so annoying.
He
I
would
don't know.
al-
This guy's kind of rad.
He would also just constantly, for whatever reason, back to the autism, craft in
Why'd
the
you point at
Dickens
me?
house.
Like what kinds of crafts? Is he making things that are useful?
He would
or
cut paper into all sorts of patterns. So imagine just like your house guest is just making paper snowflake. What do you call this?
He sounds like Buddy the Elf.
He did buddy. He buddied the
telling
elf their
me-
house.
You come home and homie just made a bunch of paper cranes.
That's folding, not cutting.
Regardless, somebody made a bunch of paper cranes for you.
Yeah, if my house is filled with litter, I'm not happy.
Like that's the thing. Crafting is not a clean endeavor.
No, and
You're thinking of glitter.
does this sound like a
They're
man
different.
that cleans up after himself?
No. He can't even shave himself. Why would he know where
It's
the
like,
trash
it's
can
not
is?
traditional in Denmark for the house guest to clean up after his crafts. It's traditional for the host to clean up after the house guest's crafting.
I feel that
And
way
those
when I
little
cook.
slips of paper go everywhere. Glue.
They're going to be finding pieces of paper for years. It's like dog hair.
And you know that those floors have just like that's uneven wood.
Yeah.
Like there's little bits get stuck into the
Literally
crevices.
no such thing as a vacuum cleaner.
Rob, I come over to your house and I cook a meal. You're expecting me to clean it too?
Why would you come over and cook?
You're
you
not.
don't
Yeah,
like-
you're certainly not invited to do that. And I would expect.
You'd be afraid that I'd make too good of a meal for you?
No. I would also. I gotta say.
boiled chicken and broccoli and rice.
I would.
No, dude, I'm a great cook. I would
I-
just stunt all over your wife. That's what it is.
I would expect you to keep things like decent, like you clean. You don't have to like fully clean, but clean
Clean
up
as you
after
go.
yourself.
Clean as you go.
Clean as you go.
No, dude, I cook, you clean. Then the rule.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm afraid of. Is you're like deep frying things and there's flour everywhere, and no matter like what happens, like I have to clean up the nightmare mess that you made, and you're just like,
You gotta crack a few eggs.
yeah, there's just eggshells on the
Eggs
floor
everywhere.
and shit. Yeah, it looks like a kitchen.
Batter.
Like it looks like a fucking restaurant kitchen.
Oh yeah, I will be frying things like chicken parm.
yeah,
No,
pass.
don't cook at other people's houses.
What
when
do you
you're the
mean?
guest.
Or
have
I'll
to make
invite you
it-
over for a nice meal. You're not gonna clean my house if I cook for you.
Why would we clean your whole house?
Seems courteous. I don't know. Seems like
Okay,
the right thing to do.
From the Hans Christian Andersen school of guesting.
Yeah. So, finally, after 5 weeks of daily insane behavior, Andersen leaves. He sensed he was no longer welcome, actually.
Oh, he
didn't-
sensed it.
He didn't seem that bad. They could have been worse.
No, it's as bad as every bit as bad as
It sounds
seems.
horrible.
Every single day is like what
he
I just
wouldn't have.
described.
I would have kicked him out. Also, I think I would have been tried as a witch. Like I don't think I would have been able to hold down a husband at this
Yeah,
time.
it's the 1840s.
I would have been. I'm too mouthy, but
The-
I just wouldn't have tolerated it. I'd be like, get this fucking guy out. Get
Yeah.
out.
Well, see, the problem is that Dickens' wife had to pick her battles because she was trying to hold on to him because he's banging a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I guess.
So Andersen sensed he was no longer welcome. Finally,
Sensed.
he sent an apology note that said, "Kindly forget the unfavorable aspect which our life together may have shown you of me."
Oh, you mean all aspects?
Yeah.
You mean everything
Every
you did?
single
Do me
fucking
a favor
day.
and forget everything I did.
Dickens himself went into the room that Hans slept in and wrote on the mirror, "Hans Andersen slept in this room for 5 weeks, which seemed to the family ages."
He wrote that on the mirror?
Yep.
He had big feelings.
Oh, yeah. He fucking
What else did he
hated-
write on the mirror?
He didn't write
Was
on
he
the-
one of those like motivational mirror guys?
Put lipstick on him. Kiss
He
it.
wrote a lot of other stuff about Andersen, though not on the mirror. Dickens basically called Andersen vocally illiterate. He was like, he can't pronounce the name of his own book in Italian.
That's like
his-
Dan in words.
His translator thinks that he can't even speak Danish. Like his translator was like, I don't understand what he's saying in fucking Danish. He said he spoke French like Peter the Wild Boy and spoke English like those at the deaf and dumb school. Like just fucking hated this guy.
Although he speaks 3-4 languages, so
Apparently he speaks none. He just knows some words in each, is according to Dickens.
yeah.
But there is a silver lining, guys. This man, for all of his tomfoolery, actually brought Charles Dickens and his wife closer together, and they got back.
Oh, did they?
Nope, the
Oh.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that. Actually,
Because
both
like trials and tribulations do bring people together.
Mhm.
this did not have that effect.
Going through like tragedy together,
Yeah.
that unites.
This did not have
I
that.
mean,
when-
think about 9/11.
Yeah. Or
We
like
were
when
never we weren't a better
United.
country than 9/12.
9/12, 2001, never better. It's been downhill since.
Truly, like everyone was like,
hard downhill.
Come here.
We had Toby Keith writing anthems. Just the one anthem, but
fucking
we'll
American
put
Eagle.
a boot in your ass.
It was enough of it.
It's the American.
Dude, and we did.
We did eventually.
Yeah,
Nobody
Gaddafi.
left.
we didn't
Was it a
lose.
boot?
We didn't lose on the battlefield.
Nah, attrition, dude, of time.
It was just people just got bored. We literally lost 2 wars because we got bored.
We got bored.
So both men actually wrote stories based on this encounter.
Oh.
Apparently, in David Copperfield, in Dickinson's David Copperfield, the villain Uriah Heep is based, at least physically, on Andersen. Uriah Heep's like a bony, weird guy like Andersen. And Hans Christian Andersen was allegedly inspired to write based on his very embarrassing trip with Dickens, The Ugly Duckling.
Aw, that is actually pretty good though. That one
Yeah,
worked.
except the problem is that the Ugly Duckling apparently just had a shitty personality, and maybe that's why everyone hated the Ugly Duckling,
Yeah.
right?
The ugly. It wasn't that you were ugly. It was that
You
you
sucked
were
ass.
wrong.
You were ugly inside.
I was thinking about this.
Intrusive. The
What-
intrusive duckling.
I was thinking about this when I wrote this, and I was like, I was mean to a lot of people in grade school and high school. I think a lot of other people were two, obviously. I'm not the only person who's ever done this. And some of them didn't deserve it. But also, some of them were genuinely off-putting.
Well, and some people just need to be told. And I think I
Get
tell
the fuck away from me!
Yes. And like, you
I
have
felt-
to just fucking.
I felt that way about a couple guys in my fraternity.
Same.
And
Fraternity
then
too.
I was literally like, I remember towards the end of my run, I'm like, was I hard on these guys? Maybe I should make amends. Maybe like before I leave, we're
But like, if you don't
adults.
like them, what's to amend?
But like, we're adults on our way out. Maybe try to save face or like make good with this guy, and then you would talk to them, and be like, "Oh no, I was right." Fuck
I'm
you."
reminded as to why I don't like you.
I remember there was this one guy, I won't say when it was, grade school or high school, but we would always get angry at him because there was only a certain amount of people allowed at the lunch table, each lunch table. You couldn't have like 12 people at a table, whatever. And he would always get to our table before every other friend had a seat. And so one friend would have to be left out and go to another table. We were not friends with this person. We didn't like this person.
Oh, that's annoying.
And
Go to a
he-
And
different
now there's
table.
not enough tables for you guys to find your own table.
and he would
If he's
be-
the first person there, go to another table.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. He would be like the fifth person there.
Oh.
He would take like the last seat or second to last seat. And then we would be like, hey, and like everything he said was annoying. And he would try to be like, and it was just like, dude, get the fuck out. Like, why are you here? Like, don't you have other people?
No,
You're
he didn't.
taking a seat from someone we want to
He
sit with.
didn't. He didn't.
And that's not even the most egregious thing. But there were a lot of people that I was probably a dickhead to in grade school, high school, college that didn't deserve it.
Your
but
career,
no,
maybe
those are all fine.
maybe
But
sit next to you.
but there were also a fair amount of people where it's like, looking back, it's like, no. They were weird and off-putting and annoying and insistent. And I actually don't regret telling them to fuck off.
I don't think it's bad. I think we need to be more honest. Like, you don't have to be mean, but you can just be truthful.
But here's the thing, though, is that sometimes with those people, you would not be mean at first. You'd be like, hey.
And you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Right. And then
Yeah.
it gets to the point where the only thing you can do is be mean.
That's the nice part about the Northeast. Everyone's pretty direct.
Yeah. That is not a
They don't have
Midwestern
that Southern hospitality.
thing. Now, just to end this on a high note, Hans Christian Andersen's stay with the Dickens family was arguably the worst thing to ever happen to the Dickens family until 1 year later. Because in 1858, Charles Dickens was 45 and his lover was 18 at that point. Divorce would have been too scandalous for someone as famous as him.
No.
So instead,
He had her killed?
he publicly accused his wife of not loving their children and being mentally ill.
No.
Oh, dude, Dickens sucks.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Maybe our
He puts the dick in Dickens.
yeah, maybe our dude, the house guest.
Dickens also attempted to have his wife institutionalized,
Yeah, dude, fuck Dickens.
so thrown into a mental asylum.
No.
This is the 1840s
Instead of
or 1850s. I'm
so
sorry.
he can fuck his child bride.
Yes.
I'm with the Dane on this now. The Dane was probably in the right.
Now this failed, so they just separated but never divorced. Catherine left, never saw her husband again, but was only able to take one of her children with her.
Not the shaver. Not
I-
the firstborn.
I think it was the daughter, so I think maybe Charles kept the shaver. Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Not
That
good.
is the story.
Come here, boy.
Shave me.
Papa needs a shave.
Papa needs a shave.
Yeah, that's the story
It's
of
9
how
a.m.
the author of The Little Mermaid was a horrible house guest to Charles Dickens.
The worst.
Now that I've heard pretty much both sides.
I mean,
that
Charles
last
Dickens is a
little
fucking
run.
asshole.
Yeah, no, dude, Dickens sucks. What's his claim to fame?
Yeah,
Tiny
but I think
Tim?
the real lesson is don't invite Dan to spend the night based on who he's siding with in this situation.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I don't think you'd be a very
It
good
would be
house
pretty
guest.
funny to come downstairs and watch Dan bleeding out as my 3-year-old
Rory's
holds
shaving
this
him?
fucking straight edge razor.
I'd be an incredible house guest.
I would just stand over you dying and be like, I don't know what you expected to happen.
Just pan frying really messy fucking shit.
Mm-hmm. You'll clean this right? He's like flipping the bacon with just the pan, oils flying everywhere.
You've never been on a trip with us to like anywhere, really, for the job.
Just San Antonio, I think.
Maybe Miami once.
Oh, in Miami, yeah.
But we were in hotels, weren't we? I forget.
No, we were in Airbnb in Miami.
That's right. But yeah, dude, I'm an incredible house guest. I'm the guy. You might have to clean your sheets.
You make
after.
a big mess.
Clean the sheets.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna crank it.
Oh, yeah,
Because of
course.
cum or sweat?
No.
You're so sweaty today.
It was hot in here. We just turned the heat off.
It was
Heat-
hot.
It's that,
was
it's that
on?
little tweener time
Yeah.
in what do you call it, in Texas where you don't know. You got to turn both on. AC in the day, heat at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just glisten. Like I have good skin.
Mhm.
Look at my skin.
Little-
Radiant.
You're a little shiny. Should have wiped down for the
No.
camera.
Did just skincare right here. Just wash my face. I don't have to do anything else.
But for the camera. Whatever.
What?
What'd you guys learn today?
The
Fucking
Danes.
Dickens is a jackass
Dickens-
that tried to
Dickens sucks.
institutionalize
Is there,
his
are
life.
there any good people in this story?
No, they're both Hitler. Actually, no. Dickens Hitler. And also the worst. This guy deserved everything he got.
Yeah.
Who, Dickens?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what I
I
learned.
mean, like, you get what you give, and it sounds like he deserved it in
It's
a way.
very much. Have you guys seen the movie, like, What About Bob?
No.
He wrote in an ironic invitation.
And then got it. Yeah.
Don't do irony.
No.
Stick to the classics.
Be direct.
Okay.
Be direct. That's
Be
what
direct.
we learned.
That's what we learned today. And then Hitler's Dickens.
Yeah.
Who's your Hitler?
I guess Dickens. I don't know.
I'd say the wife for not keeping up.
I think she's blameless.
Yeah, the
So
wife.
other than
just
for
couldn't
not
keep it as tight
aging
as a
backwards, for not
17-year-old.
being 18.
Yeah.
That's Hitler's, a 17-year-old homewrecker.
You know what Hitler is?
Whoever
is
gave
any
Dickens the
married
role.
man being in a movie or play.
Yeah.
Because
and
you're just
fucking
going
their
to cheat.
co-stars.
You're just
Yeah.
going to cheat.
Don't
Look at
do it.
Ariana Grande's dude.
Oh my God, yeah. He left his newborn baby and wife.
It's so egregious.
Yeah, but for Ariana Grande.
For a living skeleton, for a skeleton
Yeah,
with a
I
wig.
agree. She's gross now.
She's
She's gotten.
She's so.
No, she looks
her
bad.
She's gotten
eyebrows,
so bad.
her hair, everything she's been wearing on this press tour.
Ariana Grande 7 years ago, yes.
Yes. But
Perfect.
Now she's
currently-
gross as
Now
hell.
she looks like a fucking
It's getting pretty bad.
pale scarecrow.
She's a heroin addict.
She looks
It's heroin
bad.
chic. The 90s are back.
She looks bad. It's because of it's Ozempic chic now.
It is Ozempic
The
chic now.
buccal fat's removed from her cheeks.
Yeah. Not good.
R.I.P. All right, well, that's all I got.
That's Rob's dream woman.
Kind of.
Carly Rae Jepsen too.
She's turned 39.
She's appropriate.
It's too old for you.
Too old for me, yeah.
Too old for you now?
I wouldn't date a chick older than me ever anyway.
Okay.
I'm not even the maturity of my own age. So why would I date a woman?
37?
8.
8.
Why would I date a woman older than me? I need, like, literally, like,
Because
it would...
she's rich and she has
Well, that's fine.
connections.
Oh, Carly I would do for sure.
Yeah.
But she's an artist, so she's probably not as mature as she's supposed to be either.
Exactly.
Right. That's a different story.
Okay.
Are you coming to grips with your own mortality at 38?
Yeah, I've completely realized that I'm going to be okay with death because, like, when
The
I'm
sweet
dying,
caress of death.
because I'm already okay with so many things, like in my life being dead, that like my body's like my brain chemistry is just prep. I can already feel the battlefield prep. I can feel the prep where it's like I'll be on my deathbed dying. Like, I wouldn't be okay dying at 42. I'd fight that. But if I'm like 85 and it's just time, I'm slipping away, I feel like my brain's going to be like, it's cool. And I'll be like, oh, I guess it is cool. All the chemicals are telling me it's cool.
Yeah. I'm not scared of dying. I was on the roof yesterday putting up Christmas lights, and the neighbor's like, be careful. And I'm like, good tip. Like,
Yeah.
if I fall off this roof, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but what if you
Go out
became
a
like a
legend.
vegetable? You know, you don't die, but you're like severely paralyzed.
Everyone around me knows to unplug me. If I
Let's say
even
there's no
lose a
threat of
limb.
death, right? You're just
Just lose a
paralyzed
limb.
from the
I
neck
don't think
down.
you can unplug someone for a limb. You might have to unplug yourself on that one.
You'd have to enter one of those pods that apparently don't work.
That sucks, to try to die and it doesn't work.
Yeah, they had to choke this lady to death.
Dub's a dub.
Or just like nitrogen poisoning.
It doesn't
It
matter.
didn't work.
Doesn't
Inhale
matter.
nitrogen.
Doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 100. Did you win?
Winning.
She did find the sweet embrace of death,
Yeah. Win's a win.
ultimately. But it
Anyway.
was manual. It wasn't even with this machine.
Win's a win.
Wins a win.
That was kind of a John Henry situation, right? Like he's going against the man always beats machine.
Yeah. Always. AI is not ready
No.
for what we're going to bring.
Keep hammering those little stakes into the railroad. That's what I learned today.
Okay.
Good
Well, for
stuff.
Dan Regester and Gabby, thank you so much for being here.
Anytime. We love to do it.
Keep hammering.
I'm Rob Fox.
You just got soft serve.